Hi, good morning. My name is Ann McNeil, and I am the Master Wealth Builder, helping you to build a stronger and better life and business. And I am welcoming you to another episode of Think and Grow Rich with the Principles of Napoleon Hill. This is the International Mastermind Association podcast where every single Saturday we come and we share with you the best principles for success and the philosophy of success espoused by Napoleon Hill. Oftentimes, we don't realize that when Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate as they call him, when he asked Napoleon Hill if he would take 20 years of his life, think about that. 20 years of your life. Are you willing to take 20 years of your life and research the philosophy of success of the most successful people during your day and not be paid a dime? That is a major decision that had to be made by Napoleon Hill. And if he had not made that decision, many of us would still be floundering and wallowing in self-pity and indecision and procrastination and all of the things that we think are holding us back. But the decision of Napoleon Hill to accept the offer given to him by Andrew Carnegie has liberated and has freed the world. Just like the decision that was made by our quote unquote founding fathers when they decided to sign that Declaration of Independence and give freedom to what we now call as these United States. What decision are you willing to make? Well, we've made a decision to focus on the decision principle today with our special guest, Mr. Larry Long. But before we bring him on, I want to just remind many of us that the principle of decision can be wrapped up really in one word. The opposite is called procrastination. And for the mere fact that Napoleon Hill researched over 25,000 people, literally one by one, who had experienced failure in their lives, and they disclosed that the lack of decision was head of the list of the 30 major causes of failure. And what we want to do today is ask you the questions that may prompt you to make a quicker decision and change that decision very slowly. So what we're going to do now is go actually to our special guest. And for many of you that live on LinkedIn in particular, okay, sometimes Instagram, sometimes on Facebook, you may have seen this. I call him the Energizer battery. Yes, Mr. Larry Long, that's what I call you, the Energizer battery on social media. Every day I can look forward to seeing you so excited. But I think that might have been a decision that you made a very long time ago to brand yourself with that level of excitement. But let's talk a little bit about who our special guest is. Mr. Larry Long is the CEO, Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises, and he serves a global audience with motivational messages. And I can attest to that. Yes, I can attest to that. And when you think about his unique style of sharing his message, centering around the foundation of sales, you are in for a treat. You don't need coffee this morning. Just share, comment, like this podcast, and also subscribe and buckle up and help me welcome our special guest this morning. Good morning, Larry Long. How are you today?
Good morning, Ann. Can you hear me? I wish I had a red mic to match. We're not color coordinated, but close enough. I'm colorblind, so close enough. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. So right before we go to sharing with our audience the 13 principles, which tie all of these principles together, can you share with us a little bit about who you are? Then we're going to go to the commercial. We're going to come back, and then we're going to go deeper into who you are, what you do, and why you do it, and this impact of this decision principle and how it has and continues to motivate you to do what you do.
Definitely. So really quick, Ann, I'm Larry Long Jr., CEO, Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises. I'm a speaker, motivational speaker, a coach, a trainer, and a recent author. My book, Jolt, just came out in May. I'm super excited to be able to impact the lives of people and organizations in a positive manner. That's my whole goal. So I'm honored and privileged to be here with you this morning. I told my kids and my wife, I said, yes, it's not going to be quiet early this Saturday morning. Rise and shine. We're going to be having a good time in this discussion.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Larry. So I'm going to give all of our listeners just a moment to comment, like, and share. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. But please, we're going to go to these 13 principles. And while you're listening to this short video, everybody, including myself, share this podcast, share this link with a friend, a co-worker, or somebody you think that could really use the information that we're going to share. If you're stuck in the middle of an indecision and decision, if you're stuck with doubt and fears, if you're just stuck, stay tuned. But right now, we're going to watch this quick video about the 13 principles of success.
Number 1 is desire. Napoleon Hill said that everything starts with a burning desire, a compelling reason for doing what it is we do. Step 2 is faith. Having belief in our ability to attain that which we desire. Step 3 is what we call autosuggestion. Autosuggestion simply means being very intentional about the things that we are pouring into our thoughts, into our brains, and into our consciousness. Our brains, our minds will receive everything automatically, but we have to work extra hard to make sure that the positive things are what we are feeding ourselves, because those positive thoughts are going to turn into positive actions. Step number 4 is specialized knowledge. No one person knows everything, even about whatever their particular area of expertise might be. And the value of the MasterMind principle is using the specialized knowledge of other people. Step number 5 is imagination, the workshop of the mind. Everything starts with our imagination and our thoughts, the burning desire to transform those thoughts into our reality. In order to do that, we have to take a look at step 6, which is organized planning. That is how we crystallize our desire into action, organizing ourselves. Having the thought and not acting on the thought isn't going to get us anywhere. We have the thought, we go through the organized planning to transform that thought into action. Step number 7 is decision. What Napoleon Hill said is the mastery of procrastination. Napoleon Hill said that the antidote to procrastination is simply to make a decision and then move on that decision. Step 8 is persistence. We have to have a sustained effort which is induced by our faith in order to achieve our goals. One of Napoleon Hill's books I love, even the title, 3 Feet from Gold. Those people who became rich during the gold rush in the Wild Wild West days didn't do that because they were necessarily smarter or had better information than anyone else. It's because they stayed just a little bit longer. Sometimes people left when they were just literally 3 feet from gold. So hanging in there, being persistent, is step number 8. Step number 9, the power of the mastermind, the driving force. None of us can accomplish anything on our own. Everybody, I don't care who you are, from the most prominent person to the person who might be considered the lowest on the totem pole, everybody has someone who helped them get to where they are. And the power of the mastermind is being able to use those influences around us, use the thoughts, use the knowledge, use the exploration of other people to help us in achieving our goal. Step number 10, the mystery of sex transmutation. This title can be a little confusing, but essentially what the mystery of sex transmutation means is that we oftentimes in our society think of sex as being purely physical. It is absolutely physical, but what Napoleon Hill teaches us is that sex also has an emotional element, and that sex is the strongest of our desires. That if we can take our sexual energy, transform that into positive, creative influences, it can propel us to new heights. And so we spend quite a bit of time talking about the mystery of Step 10, which is sex transmutation. Step number 11 is the subconscious mind, which Napoleon Hill tells us is the connecting leap between our human mind and the infinite intelligence, the source of all thought, the source of all creativity. Conscious mind, we spent some time talking about how we use that through the influence of autosuggestion and what we're feeding into our mind. Step number 12, which is the brain, the broadcasting and receiving station of thought. Final step number 13, the sixth sense, the door to the temple of wisdom. This is the final step through which infinite intelligence may and will communicate voluntarily without any effort from or demands by the individual. The principle is the apex of the philosophy. It can be assimilated, understood, and applied only by first mastering the other 12 principles.
All right. We're back. Now that you've heard these 13 principles, now we're going to have Larry come back and we're going to go deeper into his story. So Larry, can you share with our listeners just a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how did you come here and make a decision? Because I know when I first heard your story, I was like, wow, what a leap of faith. That took a major decision on your part. And I know it was not easy, still is not easy, but sometimes that vision and that dream kind of pulls us through those hard and challenging times. So how did you get here?
Yes, well, and it's been quite the journey. It's been an adventure, sometimes misadventure. So I played baseball at University of Maryland. Go Terps. I'm a Terps legacy. My father ran track. My sister ran track. I was the black sheep of the family, literally and figuratively playing baseball. But I thought I was going to be a professional baseball player. Oh, no. I ended up going into the working world doing IT consulting with Accenture. I wasn't passionate about it. So I moved to North Carolina to open an indoor baseball and softball academy, teaching youngsters the fundamentals of the game, but more importantly, the fundamentals of life. And that's capital F-U-N. Well, we ran out of money. You run out of money, you have no business. And that's what started my software sales career. I've had the opportunity to work for 8 different companies, 10 different stops. I've been a journeyman along my career in software sales, but my true passion, I don't know if you can tell, it's not fashion, but it is talking. I've been talking since I came out of the womb, and I've been helping people all along this journey, all along this adventure we call life. So I was speaking to little leaguers. I was speaking to sales professionals about how to stay positive in the face of adversity. in the face of rejection, in the face of what some people call failure, how do you still, in the words of the great philosopher, Bob Marley, get up, stand up, and be confident, be enthusiastic as you go through sales? Well, March 26th of last year, I got the virtual knock on my door that my position had been eliminated. Well, thankfully, I had been ready. Thankfully, I had been practicing. I'm not sure if Allen Iverson is listening in, but yes, we're talking about practice, not the game. So when March 26th hit, a lot of people would have said, uh-oh, what's happening? What's next? For me, I knew what was next. I've been deliberating if I wanted to rock the mic or mics, multiple mics, full time. And my mom told me, little Larry, you got to pray harder. Well, I went in my prayer room and God made it crystal clear what that next step was. And with a supportive wife, with 2 supportive kids, a supportive family, my mom and my sister, we're here. And we've been doing this full time for the last year and 3 months, 4 months. I'm not good at math, but it's been absolutely amazing. I'm living my best life and my blessed life, helping others to step their game up and live their best life as well. So speaking life into others, lifting them up, encouraging them, hopefully transferring energy to help them get to heights that they never would have expected. And I'm living in that as well, getting to heights that I never would have imagined. It's just amazing. So when I think about the book, Think and Grow Rich, I was lucky to be a part of your mastermind through the Black NSA, the National Speakers Association, Black NSA, last fall. It was absolutely amazing. And you can see I was taking notes. And in addition, I work with a coach. I'm not sure if folks out there have a coach. I hope you have a mentor or mentors. I hope you have many mentors to help you along the way. My coach is amazing. She actually said this to me. This was in the first 2 months of us working together, 3 feet from gold. And as it said in the video, so often people give up when they're so close to success. You're 3 feet away from success, but they throw in the towel. So close, yet so far. So being persistent, being determined, and what we're talking about is decision. Oh, I can't wait. I don't want to procrastinate. I can't wait to talk about decisions.
All right. Oh my goodness gracious. Listen, if you have not had your coffee yet, this is it. Larry, you have been an inspiration to lots of people. But what prompted you to make the decision to go into this particular focus of sales? So once you made the decision, well, it is the universe made the decision for you to elevate you to another level. And isn't it interesting how when we procrastinate in that space of indecision, do I leave my job? Do I stay? Do I leave my job? And the universe says, okay, let me give you the desire of your heart. You're fired. You're laid off. 9/11, COVID, housing crisis, all of those external opportunities for growth is what I call them. Sometimes they are a blessing in disguise if we choose to make the decision to see them that way. But how did you come to the decision to go into sales of all the different disciplines you could have chosen? Why sales?
Yeah, well, Ann, I'm going to be honest with you. We're all selling. I don't care what your title is. We're all selling. It's all about your perspective. For anyone that has kids, you're selling. I know that we're going back to school in 2 weeks, 6:30 a.m. I am selling. Little Trey, little Lulu, wake your little behinds up. Learning is earning. If you're in relationships, you're selling. If you're going on an interview, you're selling. So we're all selling something at some time. Now, professional sales for me, I kind of fell into it. I mean, I used to have Lawns by Larry when I was a teenager, mowing people's lawns in the little townhouses, knocking on doors, handing out the flyer. I was scared as can be. My mom said, get out there and knock on some doors. I said, no. She said, what's the worst they can say to you? I said, no. She said, is it that bad? I said, yes. I don't like to hear no, but I had to take action. She made me take action very forcefully to get on out there and knock on doors, overcome that fear. And what I learned is that people are people. And most people are very kind, very nice. Even if they didn't hire me, they were still super kind. So getting into professional software sales, it was really a natural kind of tendency. I mean, essentially, you're telling me I get to talk and help people and make pretty good money doing it? Come on, Cletus. You must be crazy. But also what I learned is that it's kind of like baseball. Strikeouts, they're a part of life. I started off my professional sales career. My job was to call accounting firms and to get them to sign up for a demo. I got one sign up in my first 700 plus calls. I'm not a math major, but we were making 150 cold calls, and they were ice cold calls each and every day. 150 calls a day. It was about 16 to 24 conversations, and what success looked like was 2 signups. Well, I had a gentleman in New Jersey who said, Larry, I got something for you. I thought I was about to get a sign up. I said, I'm going to Sizzler. He said, Larry, I want you to put on a pair of concrete shoes and jump off a bridge. I said, I got to look in the manual. How do I overcome that objection? I didn't know the answer. It wasn't in the manual. So I just said the first thing that came to my mind. God bless you too. And then I hung up. But through my journey, what I learned is that it starts right here. Actually, it starts right here in the heart. You've got to believe in your heart, and that transfers to your mind, which transfers to your mouth, which impacts your actions. And I know in the chapter about decision, it talks about why we've been blessed with 2 ears and 1 mouth, that we're supposed to listen, but not listen to everybody, because if you listen to the hype around you, people will tell you all the reasons why you can't. And for me, I've got this voice in my head. I call him Cletus, but I should call it FUD, not Elmer Fudd, but fear, uncertainty, and doubt that tells me, Larry, you can't do that. You can't write a book. You can't be a full-time professional speaker. Are you crazy? Well, I am, and I'm going to rewrite that story. I'm going to rewrite that narrative, and I'm going to move in silence. When I think about the book, I took some notes. It talks about learning and gathering information in silence. You don't have to tell everyone your plan. For those people that are going to encourage you, for sure, Hercules. But for those that are going to be negative Nancy's, pulling you down, negative Nellies, negative Neds, oh, no. You don't need to share that with them. Your closest, sometimes your closest people, your friends and family are the ones that are going to pull you down. But you got to use your own brain. You got to follow your own heart. So I don't know if that answers your question, Ann. I went on a tangent, but I'm super excited about the decision, about taking action. When I think about the ABCs, A is action. You got to take that first step. And then that next step, I also think about accountability. Who's on your team? The B, what I'm talking about there is belief. I don't really listen to Journey, but they've got a song that I love. Don't stop believing. I'm tone deaf, so I don't want to make people cry, but you got to believe. And then the C, you got to be committed. Are you committed, or are you kind of dibble dabbling? So that's what's on my mind right now.
Listen. I'm taking notes. Okay, so A is for accountability, B is for believe, C is for commit, but also D is for dabbling. Don't dabble, get serious.
That's right. And I encourage people, D, to dream. If you think about it, I mean, I just hit 44 in June, and my coach challenged me. She said, Larry, what's your dream? Let's wave the magic wand. What do you dream of? And unfortunately, I'd stopped dreaming. When I was younger, I used to dream about all kinds of things. Going to the moon, being an astronaut, I wanted to be a garbage truck driver. I loved how they held on to the back. My mom said I was crazy. I said, I know, I get it from my mama. I get it from you. But when was the last time that we honestly dreamed? And when was the last time we dreamed big? And not just big, but bigger. I'm starting to have dreams that are pretty crazy. It's kind of crazy for me to say it out loud, but I'm starting to develop a concept for a streaming TV series. Come on now, Larry Long Jr. gonna have his own TV show? Yes. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I know I'm going to make it happen. My family, we're thinking about a kid's book, and not just thinking about it, we're taking action to get there. We know what the end goal is. Yes, Jolt for kids. Now we got to take step 1. Now we got to take step 2. It helps that I've been through the publishing process. Let's go. Taking action, being accountable, believing, committing, and dreaming, and not dabbling. I love what you said there, again. Love it.
Wow, you just reminded me, Larry, of the fact that one of the things that the author says about the fact that we have a brain and we need to use it. But he also tells us that greatness is the ability to recognize the power of this brain, then embrace it and use it. And that is where the dreams come from. So when you talk about dreaming, then what's the next step for many of us who dream and then we daydream and then we just sit? What decision do we all need to make next? And then the next step, and then the next step. And for me, Larry, this is where oftentimes a mastermind group of accountability comes in to help us take that dream. See, you have a mastermind with your family, right?
Yes.
And your coach. It's the two of you. It's actually a mastermind where you're bouncing back and forth these ideas. Can you share with us a point in your career where you thought you may have made the wrong decision, but after a period of time, it turned out to be better than you can ever imagine? Because oftentimes when we make a decision quickly, and the book tells us, make it quickly, change it slowly, versus making it slowly and then changing it quickly. Can you share with us one of those times where you've made a decision and you thought it was not the right decision, but then after giving it time to percolate, to simmer, if you will, like a good pot of beans, in time you found that, wow, that was a pretty good decision, but I didn't see it back then?
Oh, that's easy. And 13 months ago, when before I started working with my coach, we had done a discovery, but I was kind of on the fence. I was dabbling on if I was going to invest in professional coaching. She said, Larry, you haven't been at your previous company since March 26th. It's now the end of May. Your LinkedIn still says that you're employed there. And I know you've got a severance, but when are you going to update that you're a speaker? When are you going to let people know? And I said, well, her name is Kristen Frade. She's amazing. I said, Kristen, I got to get my website. I got to get my speaker one pager. I got to get my speaker demo reel. I got to get all this together. She said, Larry, I'm going to keep it real with you. If you got to get all that together, you won't update your profile for 2 years. I was like, well, okay. She said, will you commit that before the next time we speak, you'll update? I said, no, I won't commit. I'm not going to make a promise that I will not keep. She said, well, let's look at the pros and the cons. Even though you don't have your website up, what could you be missing out on by not taking action right now? And it was compelling when we wrote it out. And I love writing things out. If you could see, I got notebooks, I got papers everywhere. Please don't call the Lumber Society, because I love papers. I love to take notes. But essentially, it was crystal clear that I needed to update my LinkedIn profile. So it was the following Thursday. I'll never forget. I was on my way driving to a golf trip. I know you like to golf as well. I'm Tiger Woods' cousin. They call me Larry Hit It in the Woods. I'm his long lost cousin, but don't boom. It's a bad dad joke. But essentially, I updated my LinkedIn profile, and lo and behold, I think I had 700 reactions, likes, loves, comments, shares. People just giving me nothing but love. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I was scared. I said, I'm not ready. It's got to be perfect. And I moved without it being perfect. Kristen called me on Friday. I'd just gotten off the golf course. Probably had a bad round, probably shot 1,000. But she said, are we going to be working together? I said, come on now. You've seen the results on LinkedIn. 1,000%. From all that engagement, I was able to get, I think, 5 inquiries. I actually closed 2 or 3 deals at that time, and it was just amazing. I went from being scared, And I knew that I needed to update it, but I wanted everything. I wanted all my ducks in order. And I think they say perfection is what gets in way of good enough. And I was good enough to put it out there. I'll be honest with you, and I still don't have a speaker demo reel. I got a little demo preview, but I don't have a demo reel. My website, I got that up in June, right around June 15th, my birthday. But I just encourage people to take action. And my coach said, hey, if what you're doing doesn't make the little hair that I have on my head stand up, it's not big enough. She said, if you're going to work with me as your coach, we're going to go big, or you're not going to work with me and you got to go home. So that, for me, that's what life is about. And as I look back at that point, and really what I've determined is that I had given and given and given. I had made relationship deposits. And now that I hung my shingle and I put it out there that I was now going into business for myself, people were so just, they were open to blessing me. Folks that I didn't even know well were like, Larry, I know someone that you need to speak with. And it was just amazing the amount of withdrawals I was able to cash in on, and still today, just from making relationship deposits. It's kind of like going to the bank. When I had my business, I went to Bank of America, and they're all good with me. But I said, I need to withdraw $500. They said, Mr. Long, you got jokes. They laughed at me. They said, you haven't made enough deposits to withdraw $500. I said, uh-oh, Houston, we have a problem. Well, oftentimes in relationships, it's the same thing. We're trying to make withdrawals, but the relationship bank is empty. You want what from me? I haven't heard from you in years. So I'm gonna give the listeners something real quick, Ann. It's called the hashtag 3-minute challenge. It's all about making deposits proactively every single weekday. Take 3 minutes to find someone in your Rolodex. I know some of y'all are millennials, like, Rolodex, is that the fancy watch? Nah, that's a Rolex. That's so expensive, I can't even spell it. But go into your contact list, in your phone, your contacts, and find someone that you haven't been in touch with. It can be 3 weeks, it can be 3 months, it can be 3 years, it can be 30 years. And all I want you to do is take 3 minutes to think through, be thoughtful, be intentional. How can I surprise and delight them? For Ann, if I wanted to surprise and delight you, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to say funny red glasses meme, because I know that's your brand, the red glasses. I'm going to find that funny meme, that funny GIF. I'm going to send it to you. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just giving. I'm letting you know that, and today you are on my mind. I'm showing you that I care. Talk is cheap. In the words of the great philosopher Mystical, show me what you're working with. So the hashtag 3-minute challenge, it will change your life as well as so many other people's lives. We're going through some stuff right now, and people need to know that you care for them, that you love them, and your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you're saying.
Wow. Larry. Oh my goodness. Listen, we are blowing up in the comments, Larry. I've taken actually 3 pages of notes. You're talking about writing, but I want to make sure that we recognize all of the people who are chiming in. As you know, some of them, listen, Renetta Gordon, your energy is contagious, she says.
Okay. I hope it's just my energy. I'm gonna keep my droplets to myself. I'm sorry, Renetta. I'm gonna keep my droplets to myself.
Jason Murray says your story is just inspiring. Angelina Buckley, thank you. Wyman, yes, everyone is in sales, and those who realize it get more out of life than those who don't. Monica Long, don't stop dreaming. Larry, you have dropped so many nuggets. Actually, the 3-minute, I love that. Now, is that the number 3 or the words THREE?
Hashtag the number 3-minute challenge. Do it every weekday. And yes. I'll be honest with you, I'm an overachiever. I do the hashtag.
No, really, you think
15,
so?
15-minute challenge. Every day I pick out 5 folks that I'm going to surprise and delight. And my jam is LinkedIn. I send a video or an audio message. You can do that on LinkedIn Mobile, or I send a funny GIF. If you went to Florida State, I'm going to do GIF. I'm going to type in Florida State, and it'll have someone doing the tomahawk chop or the gentleman on the horse with the tomahawk. I just want to bring a smile to people to let them know I'm thinking about you, boo-boo.
Larry, I told somebody last week when we were priming for this show to let people know. I didn't tell them who you were. I just talked about you and how I see you every single day on LinkedIn doing that. And so naturally, and this is how powerful the subliminal mind works. It reminds me of, when you go to the movies after Thanksgiving or Christmas on holiday, your family's over and everybody says, let's go where? To the movies. You just had this big overeating dinner, right? This meal. And you walk into the theater and what do? You smell the popcorn. And it's just drawing you. No, you're not hungry, right? Nobody's hungry after Thanksgiving, Christmas. And it draws you in. And you say, hey, look, y'all go ahead and have a seat. I'm going to go get popcorn. And while you're getting the popcorn, you see that cup with the water and the ice just drizzling. I see you wetting your lip, Larry, like you could taste it.
Don't do that to me.
Wait. You see it's drizzling. The water is drizzling down the side of that cold, icy cup of Coca-Cola. So you say, hey, look, give me a cup of popcorn and a large. We'll make it large. And I'll make that cup a large cup. $20. Okay. $40. You walk into the theater, and now they have the chairs with the handles that will receive that big cup. You put that cup in each handle. You take a bite here. You take a sip there. And then the movie starts, right? And at the end, the lights come up. Why are you laughing? You getting ahead of me, Larry? Are you getting ahead of me?
I know where you're going.
The lights come up, and as you raise up out your seat, you look down at that full cup of Coke, at that box that you have hardly touched, $40. And you say, wow, you get up and you leave it there, because oftentimes we don't take it out of the theater. You leave it right there. That's what you do every day. You subliminally seduce your clients, past clients, current clients, and potential clients to remember you whenever they have a need or they know somebody that has a need. And you do it in such an amazing way that it burns into our memory bank. So, of course, how could we not ask you to come on? And I think every single person listening to this live and in the future will say, yes, man, Miss Ann McNeil, you're absolutely right. Larry has a way. And it doesn't have to be, and like he said, it's not long. No pun intended, but it is Larry long. But it's working. And that's my point. And it costs absolutely nothing but a few minutes a day. But you made a decision to be intentional. And I said that to just encourage all of our listeners. This is what it looks like when you make an intentional decision. But I want to not stop there, because we have to go back to the first principle. And when you think about, Larry, what is it that is in that first principle, if you will, the principle of desire, the passion, the purpose? I contend that that's what continues to pull you through the indecision and the fear and the doubt to press your way toward your ultimate dream or goal on that which you really want to achieve, but continuously resetting that goal. So can you talk a little bit about what is it that drives you in terms of, it might be, like we teach in the Black NSA Mastermind, and like the book, the version we use, page 28 talks about how much doing what by when. And I have, even though it's kind of tattered and torn in pages.
That is well worn. That is well loved. I love it.
but I go through one a year.
Wow. Wow.
I go through one a year, and I have many versions of this. But on page 28 in the version we use, which is the one you held up, can you hold up that Think and Grow Rich
Yes.
again?
Yes.
So I just want to have everybody to look at this. This is the version that we're using, which actually is an updated version from this. But there are so many versions of this book. It doesn't matter which one you use, get one. And if you have any questions for Larry, because I have truly lost track of time, there were so many other things I'm supposed to talk about. But Larry, we have to have you back because, again, scratching the surface of who you are, what you do, and why you do it. I want to go back to talking about your larger vision, if you will. What does that look like, and what decision that you make about crafting that and making it so clear? It might be a vision board, it might be a trip or a product or service or something that is just driving you to continue to press your way, and the decision that you must make every single day to just move a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer to that. Can you share what that looks like to us, please?
Yeah. So my decision and my vision, it's so near and dear to my heart. Now, it was tough to get there. I lost my father 5.5 years ago. And in working with my coach, I had some challenges around my fees. In my mind, I can sell software for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but selling myself for 5,000, 10,000, I had a tough mental block. So my coach said, "Why are you doing what you're doing?" And we dug deep, real deep. And what it came down to is I want to pass the baton, literally and figuratively, that my father passed to me. My dad grew up in Baltimore City in the projects, only one from his family to graduate high school, went on to college, got his master's, top of his game. And when I lost him, I lost a piece of me. He was very, he wanted to retire and devote his time, energy, resources, and money to inner city youth, helping them to elevate to higher education because he knew the power of education. He knew the power of that piece of paper, having that diploma, having that degree. So that's my mission, is to drive my business, and 7% of all revenues that I make go to the Shorty Long Foundation. It's not a 501c3 yet, but the money that I make, and I'm not bashful anymore about my fees because I know that it's going to support me and my family, and it's going to support inner city youth. That's plural, that want to go to college and just don't have the funds. So we set a date because I think they call it SMART goals. And I'm going to give you a hot take. I don't call anyone dumb, but I think SMART goals are dumb. Specific, yes. Measurable, yes. Time bound, yes. Attainable and realistic, heck to the nah. Ain't nobody got time for that. I've got unattainable goals. I've got unrealistic goals from everyone else's perspective. From my perspective, I'm going to find a way to get there. So essentially, December 11th, 2025, it's the 10-year anniversary of my father transitioning. We're going to have either broken ground for a facility, a physical facility, a youth center, or we're going to have a funded fund to support, to actually cut checks to youth that want to go on to college, youth from the inner city. That's what drives me. That's what my desire is. That's what I'm driven for. And I've got faith, I've got confidence, I'm committed, and I've had to be courageous because I can tell you, I get scared just like everyone else. I get nervous. I get doubtful about, can I do this? But essentially knowing why I'm doing it and having that crystal clear vision, in the words of McFadden and Whitehead, ain't no stopping me now. Y'all better watch out. I'm getting choked up just thinking about it, but you better watch out, world.
Angelina Buckley said, Larry, yes, Larry must come back. And Angelina Buckley is our co-host for our Friday Think and Grow Rich Friday accountability call. And she says, yes, Larry. Larry must come back, Ann McNeil. So I do listen to her. So Let's take a moment and talk about the Friday accountability call. We host a free call every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And everybody gets at least 1 minute to come on and share your aha from any area of this book that you're reading. Once a week, you get 1 minute. And you also get to share with us what you want us to hold you accountable for, one business goal, week by week by week. And it is so powerful. We start right on time at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, and we finish right about 7:15, definitely no later than 2025 after. And it has just been phenomenal. We've been doing this now for, gosh, over about 15 years. Every Friday, yes, 52 weeks, because somebody comes on and share hosting the call. You can go to Eventbrite, but you can also go to the International Masterminders with an S.com, and you can register, and we'll send you all of the information for that. In addition to that, we also, Larry, we host a beta test on masterminding. And so a lot of these decisions that we've made and a lot of things we've discussed today, we want to create, and we're creating a place. And like Larry's talking about a building, Larry, I'm going to encourage you as a contractor, right? Take that money you would put in the building and put it into the minds and hearts and education of the young people. Because as a contractor, nowadays with these platforms, you can be virtual all over the world. You can take that same money, and in addition to college, you can also fund trade schools. And they can be trade schools over many, many, many disciplines, just like you talked about, computer software. I'm in construction. There's trade schools for medical. There's trade schools for so many things. And what we're learning now is that the universities um, really are retooling themselves for the market, because 4-year degree on one subject may not necessarily be what the market is demanding. And you know from speaking all over the world that many of these industries are requiring specialization, like the book talks about. They're requiring certification as experts. They're going into high schools now and encouraging the kids, hey, come into my firm as an intern. And some of these interns stay there for life, but they're able to niche to be rich. Oh, speaking of niching to be rich, Larry, we want to have you share with our audience how they can reach you and what products and services do you have whereby you can help them niche in an area in terms of learning how to sell, who to sell to, and those things.
I appreciate it, Ann. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Larry Long Jr. I've got the gold mic in my hand, a smile for a mile. You can also visit me on my website. That's Larry Long Jr. And that's JR, LarryLongJR.com. Please feel free to reach out to me. I have my book, Jolt, getting you zapped into intentionality, rediscover, and believe in your inner greatness. Sometimes we lose that inner greatness, as well as I offer sales training, sales acceleration classes, anything that will help you to go from where you're at today to that next level. And then that next level, please let me know how I can serve you, how I can serve your team, how I can serve your organization. I would love the opportunity to help you. And I just want to share this with folks because I was challenged with this. My coach said to me, healthy people ask for what they want. Think about that. Healthy people ask for what they want. So I'm asking you, I would love to speak to your organization. How can we make that happen? Thank you in advance.
Wow, I love that. That's a decision. And that takes courage, that takes character, that takes confidence to really begin to speak exactly what you want and not be afraid. But the indecision, I'm sure that took a moment to work through that. Did you just automatically just know, you're going to jump out and do that? No? Yes?
No, it's I wish it was that easy. I wish I had the little Staples red button. Boop, that was easy. But no, it's a process and it's a journey, and we're all on our own journeys. There's peaks, there's valleys, highs, lows, twists and turns. I encourage folks to make sure you learn as you live and hopefully love, and then share those learnings with others, which you talk about the power of masterminding. When you can bring different perspectives, when you can bring support and encouragement to help each other, the results are amazing. I think there's a quote, and I apologize, you'll have to Google it to see who it needs to be attributed to. But if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, let's roll together. So let's roll together, y'all. Shoot, I'm excited because the future is bright. And I think some people say the sky's the limit. And my Steve Harvey Family Feud voice survey says, nah, there is no limit. There is no limit. Think about it. The only limits we have are the ones that we put on ourselves. Stop it. Let's go get it.
I'm sorry, I keep laughing. I literally have 10 pages of notes and I can work them backwards. Live, learn, love. Live, learn, and love. Goals. Larry, listen, before I lose my job, let me talk about this MasterMind annual meeting because, and I just asked you before the podcast started to consider bringing your family. Every year, we host an annual meeting for your life. And at that annual meeting, it is not a conference, it's for your individual life. We host this meeting, okay, annual meeting. You know, corporations have an annual meeting to share with the shareholders how the corporation is doing, you know. But do you have an annual meeting to share with your shareholders? Your shareholders are your family. Your shareholders are is really yourself. We ask you to be accountable for 10 areas of your life. This is the International Mastermind Association annual meeting that is held every year in Boca Raton on January, usually the first or second Saturday. Next year in 2023, it's going to be held on January 6th to 7th. 6 p.m. we start with a reception. We call it, Larry, you'd love this. It's like an open mic. People just stand up and share what the best practices they've had, aha moments or whatever they've had this year. Just briefly, sometimes it takes, it takes a while for them to get it up and get it out because they're so excited. But we're going to ask you to go to internationalmasterminders.com and register. And I'm going to keep saying that because we wait to register late. And I am more than doubling the price because, again, the price has been the same for 20 years and people still want to wait. So let it be known. I'm saying it again and again and again. And when you come and say, hey, look, I missed it down, I'm saying, oh, sorry. What stays the price for 20 years? I don't know if they're still in business. This is a business. It's a not-for-profit. And we're here to support families. Please bring your children, bring your family, bring your relatives. Every single year, January, at the Embassy Suites, Boca Raton, we focus on your spiritual, your family, your finances, your health, the educational area of your life, your personal growth and development, your business or your career, the recreation, creativity, and civic. We encourage you to set the goals for 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And right now, many of us are in our 40th year. Life-changing, like Larry said, when you have a dream and a mission and a vision for your life, that's so much larger than you can even imagine. And it really is not a destination. In other words, it's not a place you're going to arrive, because every time you get closer to hitting that goal, you really want to reset that goal. Does that make sense? Reset the goal, reset the goal. Larry, I'm going to ask you to come back on camera and we're going to go ahead and wrap up. If you want to share any closing comments, any thoughts, aha moments for yourself, and then we're going to continue to ask everybody, please remember to comment, like, and share the show. And if you have a last minute question for Larry, you can put it in the chat and we will have him answer that. But But until then, we're going to wrap up and ask you to please come back for a special guest next week. We didn't tell you Larry was going to be on. We just told you a little bit about him. And so we have a very special guest next week, and we're going to ask you to please show up, because sometimes people decide, oh, I don't know if I want to listen to that person. I don't know that person. Well, if you missed today, you got to hit the replay. So Larry, any closing comments?
Yes, I want to say thank you, Ann. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing.
Oh.
The impact that you're having on people's lives, and even people that you don't even realize, myself included, is absolutely amazing. I met you at Influence last year in Las Vegas, and I was observing. I was keeping my ears open and my mouth shut as much as possible. I mean, I got the gold mic. Let's keep it real. But you had a huge impact. And then being able to interact with you at the South Florida chapter, once again, strengthened that. So just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Keep serving. And I just share, I want to share with everyone else. Sharing is caring. So it's great for you to make sure that you share this with others. Don't keep it to yourself. That's the worst thing you can do, is to hoard knowledge, hoard good stuff. The best thing you can do is pass it along, because people need it. And you'll be surprised that the people that need it most, you would be surprised. Just go ahead and let them know, hey, check this out. Come and join. Come with me next week. Come on over my house. We'll have a watch party. I'll make some scrambled eggs with cheese. We'll have some breakfast. Shoot, we can make this a party. And I hope to see everyone in Boca. I'm going to make a decision to bring my family to Boca. I think it's going to be sunny down there. I need to work on my tan, but we're going to make sure we get after that MasterMinds conference. So thank you, and all the best.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Ann McNeil. I am the Master Wealth Builder, building stronger and better lives and businesses with these principles. And I host a niche to be rich event once a year, and it's only for one day. Yes, on an island, one day. And if you are struggling with doubt, if you're struggling with challenges, even if you're struggling with money issues, you may want to check. No, not may. You definitely want to check us out and join us for one day for our niche to be rich event from 8 to 3 p.m. November 9th, 2022. You can go to annmcneil.com/coaching. You can go to Eventbrite. You can Google niche to be rich. The point is this: where do you go to be held accountable for every single area of your business? This is a day of business. If you want to do life, we can talk about that. But this is for your business, because oftentimes, and like Larry talked about, the decision sometimes is made for you. You show up to work, and let me say this. I like listening to comedy. And yesterday somebody told me, oh, nobody listens to Sinbad. Anyway, I was listening to Sinbad yesterday, and he said, you know when you're going to get fired. I'm not waiting till 5 o'clock for you to fire me. When I see you looking like you're getting ready to come to me and tell me you're going to, I said, I quit. So you can make a decision. I'm not telling you to quit your job, but we already know when it's coming. Make the decision to become an entrepreneur inside that organization before they come to you and make you an entrepreneur. Decide to niche to be rich and focus on how much you want. What are you going to do to get it? By what date? And where's your plan? And if you don't have a plan and you've not made that decision, then you may want to check us out and join us for our one-day niche to be rich event. Larry, you have been a joy today. We want to ask everybody to send him some love. Please follow Larry on LinkedIn, because if you do, you will not regret it. A phenomenal guest you've been today, Larry. I want to thank you. So again, top of the hour, we want to thank all of you for joining. Namaste. My name is Ann McNeil, and be blessed. See you next week. Thanks.